Welcome to the channel. It's a beautiful day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, and I am glad that you could join me. Welcome. So the other day I was out riding Ducky around, not beating on it. I mean, riding around like a grandma. I barely got out of idle and first gear. And I noticed that it kind of seemed like it was getting hot. I mean, I don't know. Maybe to me it felt like it was warming up, and I could smell smells that I have not smelt before from it. And I mean, I have no clue why that would happen. It's not like we blocked any airflow with that honking front fender and the skid plate. So I thought, why not put some louvers in the front fender? I mean, it might let some mud get up there, but it's definitely gonna let air flow through. And I believe some of the the 250Rs and stuff had that anyways, and some of the aftermarket plastics. So what I did was I dug through everything and I looked for louvers that we could use. I mean, we could make them by hand, whatever, but maybe it'd be easier just to find some louvers to put in there. So let me show you what I came up with. All right, here's the selection that we have. So this hood came from the scrapyard when I got parts for the K3500, the white dually we call it. This has louvers in it. It actually has some louvers up here too. And then I thought maybe, I don't know, that might be too big. I mean, it's an idea, right? You don't know till you try. So that might be too big. Those might be too big. I'm really not 100% sure. But then I was digging around in my scrap pile and I found these. They're kind of flimsy aluminum. I believe these came off of like a camper. I'm pretty sure those came off of a camper. And then I found these. These louvers are actually from like a 60s, late 60s, maybe early 70s Massey Ferguson Ski Whiz snowmobile, I believe. I'm not 100%, but I'm like 98% that's where those came from. So I like these. They're thick. I think we could probably weld them or even pop rivet them in there, and it would give some airflow through to the motor. So what we need to do now is get that front fender off. Well, here's what I want to do. Let's first set up a little track, take it for a couple rips around, and then I'll take my thermometer and just see how warm that engine got. Then we'll figure out some sort of louvers to put on that front fender, and let's do it all over again and see if it actually cools the engine down. This is for science. So let's get this track kind of set up and see what we can do for temperature readings. Oh yeah, and did I mention this is going to be fun? All right, track is all set up. Starting point is the oak tree and the pond in between the two. Let me just, here. All right, let's go down here. So here's our oak tree. We'll put the stick right there. Here's the pond. So here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna take off here, go up the hill, and then launch through the fence, wall climb, berm, jump down, back through all the way down the hill, boom, finish. we'll do that 2 times. I figured that'll get it warm enough 2 times. Plus, this is a pretty steep hill here. So we'll run through there. We'll do that twice. And then we will bust out the old fluke. And we will just see what the temperature is. So before I guess we even start, I figure I'll just probably go like right maybe there. And it looks like right now for me driving it down, it is 109 degrees right there. So that will be our base, but we will see once we put some louvers in here if that cools down or not. So it's about 109 right now. It's, you know, warm. So let's run this twice and then just see what temperature we're at. All right, so go right there. 157, 8. We'll call it 150. 155. So 155 degrees. Let's go put the louvers on and just see what it does. I know what you're thinking. You're like, man, he didn't launch it off at any of those jumps. Well, I don't know why. It's bogging down. So we need to look at that. But first, let's get these louvers done before we even worry about, you know, messing with something else. Because we're in the middle of this project. So maybe next time we can get it to launch off of these jumps. All right, so before we pull this now muddy fender, I'd like to kind of see where we want to put like the louvers in. So I'm thinking if we put it higher up like this, it'll kind of scoop the air off the fender and maybe shoot it down, because the louvers are going to be slightly, you know, scooped. So it's going to go down. So I think I want to put them about as high as I can, which to me that means if I just go across this seam up here and then, yeah, so maybe something in that general area. Definitely not as low as down here, because skid plate's gonna get in the way. So I think we want to just put them about as high as we can. So I think right on this kind of bend I did. Yeah, well, let's get this thing pulled off. It's just 2 bolts and 2 zip screws, and see if we can't find something that looks nice to that. All right, fender's off. It only took, you know, the 2 bolts, and then I had the 2 zip screws down here kind of indexing it. And here are all of our louvers, and, well, those are vents. These aren't even louvers. They would just let mud splash right through. So here's kind of, my original thought was, that looked like that could actually fit there. But then, you know, once you take a tape measure to it, it doesn't. So, you know, going like from here to here, we're looking at 7.5 inches, give or take. And these, you know, down at the bottom are, you know, 11 inches. Up top is 10. And so I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, you could take half, and I thought that too, but this is straight, and here it's actually beveled out. So you would have like straight louvers and then flared over. I didn't like the idea of that. So it was a good idea for $10 at the, you know, scrapyard. We'll find a use for it, but that's going to be a no. So these ones are aluminum. They're really flimsy. I mean, I could smash it right now with my hands. So I don't like the idea of that. So we're on to the old Massey Ferguson ones. Now these are tough. I mean, I can't even bend them. They're probably, I mean, that's almost 1/8 inch. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, those are tough. They're thick. That's quality built, American craftsmanship, I'm sure. And if I measure, like I said here, and we're at like 7.5, if you go to the louver, 7 inches. So I could probably trim around the edge, and then, I mean, I don't know, we did one right like that, centered of course, but if we did one, that might be enough to let the airflow come off of it. I guess we could put 2, but my idea is I just cut it the shape of the louvers so I can push it in from the bottom side and then tack weld it. Or I mean, we could even pop rivet it in, but I think I'll just tack weld it and make it nice and sturdy. And I think if I just kind of put one there, I think that might be all we need is the one, and then that'll be just less mud, because mud definitely gets up in here on the bottom side. So if we put it like that, the mud splashing up shouldn't come out too bad. I think that'll work. I think if I cut this out the same kind of size as the louvers and then just push it in from the back side, tack it, whatever I need to do to make it fit, and then yeah, let's go that route. So I'm gonna cut this out and we're gonna push this in the backside, and then you know, we'll see how it looks. I guess we could always go with the second one, but I think one might be fine. So, well, let's get to that. What I did was I decided on this one. Why? I don't know. It just spoke to me. And what I did was I made a little template here, and I just measured the louvers right, and then this sits up here like 1/2 inch, so that dictated where I put it. Yes, I could have ground this off, but I figured these holes are a nice just place to spot weld it. So then we just kind of put that like that. So this is what we got to get cut out. Figured I'll just drill some holes in the corner to kind of make it rounded, and then we'll whack it out and see how it fits. All right, that easy. So now this is just going to sit up in here, something along these lines. And that, I mean, looks like louvers to me, right? I guess I could mount it on the outside, but I like it inside. It makes it look cleaner, I think. And yeah, with these holes, you're right, I could pop rivet it in there, but I think I'll just go get the metal glue gun out, and from the bottom side, I'll just tack it in all these holes, and it should hold. So let me clean this up and just burn it in, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, there we go. It's all in place. I got a little more grinding, just a little cleanup to do. Actually, I haven't grounded at all. So I welded it from the back side. You can see I got good penetration, burnt the paint right through. So I just got to clean this up a little bit and with a little primer, and then we're ready to put it on and see how it performs. All right, fenders on with the louvers. Nice. So I think they turned out pretty good. I mean, they look good. So I already wrote it down here. Same track, same everything. This is for science. Let's see what we're at. Oh, we are not near as warm just from riding down the hill. So let's get this thing started up, get it to the right temperature. Well, let's just do that. All right, we are at, well, close enough to 109 degrees. Okay, so let's take this thing for a lap, 2 laps, like before, and see if our louvers cooled it down any. All right, man, so we are at 135 degrees. So the last one was what, 155 to like 159, somewhere in there. So we dropped 20 degrees by adding those louvers. I mean, it's the same temperature. The only difference is when I was welding that all in, it started to rain. So maybe, I don't know. So 20 degree drop by adding those louvers, which let a little mud in. You can see the mud there, but it's not, I mean, it's not splashed everywhere. The motor's not all caked. So when? I mean, 20-degree drop with some louvers? Science. So I guess that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe if you thought it was interesting. Hey, throw a comment, whatever. It's pretty cool. So yeah, till next time, be blessed and peace. Tell me you own an ATC without telling me you own an ATC. I mean, be blessed.